Alright, we got the bass that we left off from the Serum tips and tricks video. So we're going to see if we can make a drop out of this quickly. Let's give it a go. Also, apologies if the aircon behind me is loud. It is hot as hell here in Australia right now. Give this a bit of glide. So I'm going to put mono legato always, put it probably up to 81. Do that on all the patches. Don't want to make it too big though, because we want those small notes to still be pronounced. I might actually drop this down to like, I don't know, 60. 60 right there. Here, and this one. Yes, that could work. So we're gonna go make a drum loop now. So we'll look at It's a good pack. It's a good pack. Might bring up Splice, have a look. Oop. Okay, you guys won't be able to see that, so I'll just do it on here. I'm gonna try to see some splice packs, because at least you guys can use them too. Yeah. Maybe like the Rene Vice pack. I'm gonna use the cone sound one for kicks. It's pretty bouncy. Yeah, these ones will do. Let's get some snares. From one shot, snares. Clean. Actually, I might go the noisy pack for this one. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now hats, I know definitely not the Rene Levice one. Has some good stuff. Now, this sound definitely needs to be processed. So I'm gonna use an EQ8. Yeah, we're getting a lot of build up around the 3K region here. So see, what I've done here basically is boosted the sub. I boosted this here because this is like the fundamental of that sound. You see right there. Definitely want that. I've reduced this like 2 to 4K region because that was just harsh. You can see there, it's just spiking. And then I've also given it a boost here because we had a bit of a dip if you don't remember. That one there. So needed some 6K. And then it also needed some stuff above 10K. But these super highs, wanted to cut that back to like 17. Now another thing we want to do is do some mid-side. So I'm going to cut off the... Sorry, don't mean to do that. Meant to be on the sides. So I'm going to cut off... across there. And then I'm just going to give it like a nice... across the board. Just reduce in the sides because they were pretty heavy. They still are. Where is it? Is it 8? And then in the mids, I might give it a gain. So we went from this to this. And anyway, that's all. We don't need to worry about the patch because I already showed you guys that. So we'll keep going. So I obviously need some sidechain here. So I'm going to group all these ones up and call this drums. It's Control G or Command G. I'm going to group this and call it basses. Basses. Call this main serum bass, and I'm going to got your snare. Got our perks. So delete a couple of these. I don't want to go too high because I know my head's sitting up here in the video. So we're gonna obviously want to run everything through a sidechain. So like you'd see I've set up templates where I have a sidechain bus and all that, but for this one I'm just gonna do everything. Actually, I'm just gonna go not drums in here. So like literally everything that is gonna get sidechained will be, that isn't a drum, will be going through this no drum section. So I'm gonna add a sidechain on. Now typically I use Shaperbox, but for this one I'm gonna use utility. Because obviously you guys will have that. So I want to keep it more native for this one. Mainly using Serum as our VST. So when we do this, you can see the main body of the kick is here. And it sort of like rings out, but like this is the main section that we want to be carving out. So then the rest of this, we almost want to be just like sort of gradually. Now some people might crucify me for doing my a thing like this, but fuck them, I don't care. Obviously we don't need that third one. Now for the snare, I don't think it needs to go that much further. We can probably make the snare one a bit tighter if I'm being honest. So put the kick one again here, and then we'll put the snare one here. So you can hear that like it's still a pretty pronounced sidechain. Like, you're definitely hearing this one a lot. So I'm wondering if maybe we just bring this back up like that. And then we could also potentially do that with the kick. So I don't know if we need the rest of that. Like if we just solo. Yeah, we probably do need a little bit more of that than I originally thought. So anyway, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty too much. Set up the sidechain, we've got the kick, snare, main bass, we've got the main perks. Definitely want to add in some sort of like sound. So I'm going to go probably the Mackie G hat for this, Mackie G pack for this one. We'll go top loop. Yeah, they definitely drive it along a bit more. Now for our drums, just gonna chuck a little glue compressor on here. Now you don't have to do this, like you can level them. But I just want to allow these to come through pretty well. I'm gonna give them a slower attack so that it allows the transients through. I'm just turning on the soft clipper there. So originally it sounded like this. Then we turn it on. Nothing too major. We're just giving a bit of compression, bit of soft clipping to. You can see we're controlling that peak there. It's really clipping into the red there, but now it's not. Talking about controlling the peak. So now we could like look at adding some new, I guess, like atmospheric effects. We've got a pretty like sustained bass line, so we want some stuff to play off that. You know, sort of like some little it's like vocals or something. So maybe we go vocal. We want to check like what key we're in. So we're in F. So we're gonna go vocal F. Go down to the all results. This stuff is mainly splice. Oh, why did I just drop my lewd collab into there? That would have sounded fucking weird.
Bringing fire.
So we're going to add a few that play off each other. I'm going to make these complex pro, turn the filaments in the envelope all the way down. That's usually my favorite warp mode for anything that isn't a drum. Drums, obviously, beats is usually better.
I'll make the crowd move.
Ready.
Fire! Now
So here's one we could use. Yep, you definitely make that. I'm gonna actually unwarp that. So we're gonna take this syllable here where it's like fuck, I butchered that. Take that one. That's a good one. So we got. So we got Maybe take that one. So if we just turn off this original one. So what you could do is like you can put these into a formation that actually sounds like it works. Take this one, duplicate it, put it up. Also want to play these off the drums. That could work. We'll see how that sounds just with the... Cool. So we got these now, and they're obviously like super duper dry. And they're super choppy, so we got to figure out ways that we're going to connect them. So the first one that I can think of is obviously, well, the first thing actually that we want to do is we want to chuck a glue compressor on. We want to compress these together. Turn the attack and the release down, turn the ratio up. So this is really going to clamp down on this. And then after that, I'm probably going to chuck a multi-band compressor on, or multi-band compression. So that'll also just like adjust the mids and highs in relation. So originally, now. Another thing we can do is chuck on some delay. But we definitely want to... because the delay is going to be connecting them, instead of doing it in parallel, and instead of treating it as like a sort of effect, we might want to do this before here. So now we're creating essentially some delays that are happening out here, and you're like way out in the stereo field, that are playing off what your centered vocal is. And they're being brought up like pretty presently to what's happening here. So now we treat this, we can treat this as like our actual vocal. So we could freeze that and flatten it. And then these have all turned into beats mode, which is a pain in the ass because that's what my default warp function set to. So I'm turning that down. So you can Command J. So now we want to see what we can do with this. So the way that you usually want to look at this is like, you want to create sort of weird spatial effects, and then you want to process them together so it sounds all cohesive. So like, you may have seen in one of the other videos, one thing you can do is add convolution reverb. So obviously it's hybrid reverb in Ableton 11. So what we're going to do is turn the stereo and the size all the way up, and then the blend and the decay all the way down. So what this is doing is like, it's just the size and the stereo, it's just pushing it way out into the stereo field, but we're not getting a lot of like timing on it. We'll do that with a dedicated reverb. This is more for like a texture effect. And then the blend is just taking it from being, you know, Ableton reverb all the way to a hybrid reverb. Because obviously, sorry, convolution. This is all the way, this is 100% convolution. So we're gonna make this 100%. Control G. Control D on that. Duplicate. Oh, sorry, delete one. So we have a dry chain. Then we have a reverb. See, now we have this chain that's playing off with the original. And now we can change the mode to see the different style of reverb, which will change the texture of the sound. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of low end, so we're going to take an EQ8 and put that behind. Now, a little trick here is making the lower band 600 hertz, doing an upper band at 6000 hertz, and then taking a mid one, dropping it by like 3 to 4 dB and making that 600. Sorry, this one's 2000. Just takes away a bit of the mud. We might take more though, because it seems like there's a lot in this. Maybe allow a bit more highs in. So another thing we could add to this rack is like, we could add a phaser. Or a doubler. Do a phase. But obviously this is copying the original. So we might want, brain fart. We might want to add something after this that messes it up a bit more. Something we could do is we could make this like a super reverbed out one. So see, by doing stuff in parallel here, you really get control over how much of each element, or each texture or aspect of the sound that you want. So we might want to add a little bit more space for this one here. So if we go, chuck an EQ8. First off, we're going to reduce all this low end. You can see that this one's really... It's sitting from like 400 to 1K. So like that region in our Reese, we really want to reduce. So you're down to 400 to 1K. But if you keep in mind, when I made the original patch, the original saw wave, I'm already reducing it above. So maybe I just need to adjust that one. Or I can turn that off and just do it in here. See, we can let the hats take up the high end, so we don't always have to have so much high end on the bass. We can also increase the highs on the vocals, because I think they're definitely very mid-heavy. Now on these two percussion ones, we also want to EQ 8. So definitely remove the low end off these. Maybe add a saturator here, get a little bit more out of it. Nah, it's not really doing anything. Just want to check a loudness meter, see how we're going with this. Yeah, so that's super loud. So probably that's why the drums aren't popping as much. Like this synth group is just way too loud. So we're going to bring... So instead of adding the glue compressor on there, well, we could still add that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck a utility in front of the glue compressor. Just so we're driving less into this compressor. Chuck that same one on the vocals, but then adjust it up so that they sit on top of the mix. Now we can look at the glue compressor on the drums here. Might make this parallel, so just reduce the compression by making it more dry. Maybe take it to like 20-30%. We can add other layers in, so we'll move these ones out the way up here. Now, if we've got a sustained sort of one like this, we definitely want to be doing two things. We want to be high passing it, one. We're going to be reverbing literal hell out of it. And another thing we could do is we could add on a utility. We could do a sidechaining sort of thing like this. Definitely pan this side to side. So automate the panning so that when it waves up on one, will be pretty hard left, and then will be pretty hard right. So that's sort of where I'll leave it now. I don't want to make the video too long, but I just want to show you guys like how you can sort of take a sound and fish it out into a drop idea. And then you can take that from there like where you want to. So thank you guys. And again, I will see you in the next video.